What's going on, guys? This is Todd with What You Want Sports. This is my first video. I've been thinking a lot about this free agency, and I just kind of want to be able to talk about it and kind of go through it all. And so today, I kind of just want to go through some winners and losers, both for players and teams. I think that there are teams that lost, but players that won, and I'll go more into detail with that. I'm gonna get the main ones out of the way, the really obvious ones I think we can all agree about. Obviously Nets, you know what I mean? Got Kyrie, top 3 point guard in my opinion. And then you get Kevin Durant, who even though he's gonna be sidelined for a year, I think he's gonna come back. I think he's gonna be fine. I think it's been a while since he relied on his athleticism, and I think as long as he comes back and looks remotely as athletic as he used to be, I think he'll be fine. I love the pieces around them. I love the signing of DeAndre Jordan because I think worst case, he can help mentor Jared Allen. I think Jared Allen, that's the only thing. I feel kind of bad for him because I think he showed last year that he can be that starting center for you. And I don't know how it's going to work out. Like, I don't know if they're both going to start or because you can't really play them both at the same time, right? Because they're just two lob finishers and no one can really stretch the floor. But yeah, obviously, Nets are the big winners. You get a guy like Kevin Durant, Kyrie. Those are two, MVP caliber players. So yeah, I mean that's a great. There's not really too much to talk about. I think they've done a good job. I heard today they might have Kawhi Leonard. I saw a couple things about that Kawhi Leonard might want to play there. I don't know how it's going to work out cap wise, but yeah, I think it looks like a really deep team. And to keep guys like Dinwiddie, RHJ, all those type of guys, I think they're really going to help. I think next year they're going to be at least a 5 seed. I really don't want to get too ahead because I personally have never seen Kyrie win without another superstar. So I think there are a lot of questions that are going to be answered this year about Kyrie Irving. Because I think the narrative of this year is going to be how can Kyrie deal with being the guy? Because I'm a Boston fan. Last year, Kyrie kind of let me down a little bit. Wasn't super impressed with him. I think he wants to be the man, and now he can go to Brooklyn and he can be the man, and that's good for him. I'm really happy for him moving on. Happy for Kevin Durant as well. Now, another winner of mine, I'm not happy about all their moves, but I think it's the Boston Celtics. I know I'm a little bit of a homer, but I'm really happy with the Kemba Walker signing. I think Kemba Walker is obviously a top 5 point guard. I think the only point guards that are better than him without any debate, are Kyrie, Russ, Dame, and then Steph Curry, obviously. And I don't think there's another better point guard than Kemba. Because I think that Kemba's a little more selfless. I think he's gotten his points. He's been able to just go out there and get a bucket for years and years and years. And he says, you know what, I'm tired of that. I want to win. And I think he'll have the opportunity to do that. And I think he'll do a better job playing in this system. Because I think obviously he's not as skilled as Kyrie Irving. But I think his efficiency is going to go up a lot playing in this system. He's going to get a lot more open looks because he has other players. He has Jason Tatum, now Enes Kanter. I do not like the Enes Kanter signing. I think he's just a lazy basketball player, and I think he plays stupid a lot. He was very skilled. I really liked him in OKC. I thought that he was going to be better than Steven Adams. I really did. I thought his offensive versatility was going to make him really special in this league. But just watching him, especially the last playoff series for the Trailblazers, he allowed a lot of offensive rebounds. And I think it just comes down to effort. And I think he's a skilled big, and I think he's going to flourish in the Celtics system. But I think we're really going to miss Al Horford's defense. And I don't think Enes Kanter is going to be able to help us on the defensive end at all. Hopefully Brad, though, can kind of coach him up to actually run a little bit, play a little bit. Another move, I'm sad to see Terry go, but at the same time, I'm really happy to see him go to the Hornets. He's probably my front runner for most improved player next year. Like he said, he got frustrated with his role in Boston. They didn't really give him anything. He showed what he can do in the playoffs with Kyrie out, and they rewarded him by decreasing his minutes. It was kind of puzzling. Obviously, a lot of Celtics fans love Terry. I think next year he can be a 16, 17, and 6 kind of guy. I really do. Somewhat efficient. I like him. But to stay back on the Celtics, I just like the moves they made. I like the idea to bring in a guy. I was kind of worried they were going into rebuild mode, and I think they honestly are too skilled to go into rebuild mode. Now all we got to do is get an actual big. That's the thing I think is going to hold us back. I don't think Enes Kanter, obviously, I don't think we can get out of the East with Enes Kanter as our big man, especially with teams like the Bucks, who have Giannis, who can just go at the rim all day long, and then you have the Sixers, who got Embiid. I think the Celtics are in that kind of 4 to 6 seed territory. But yeah, I'm not crazy about that. But I think they definitely won by doing a good job getting Kemba Walker, because they just kind of went and snagged him. So I really like that. Another team, this team I think won. They just did a great job, and that's the Pacers. I really like the Pacers. I love that they got Jeremy Lamb. I love that they got Malcolm Brogdon. Brogdon is that kind of perfect, efficient two-way guy who I think is going to pair really well with Victor Oladipo. That's probably your best defensive backcourt in the NBA, probably. I can't really think of any other team that has a better defensive backcourt. So I really like that. They have a great defensive, kind of mindset as a team. They play slow, calculated basketball. I really liked them last year. Obviously, Victor Oladipo went down, and they just don't have that star power, I think, to make it out of the East. But I very well think they're going to be at least a 2 or 3 seed. I think they're going to really improve this year. I think Victor's going to come back. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit for him to get going, but Jeremy Lamb going there, I think is really going to help them as well. I really like Jeremy Lamb. I really wanted the Lakers to get him, just because I thought he would have paired really well with that team. But I think he's going to be great off their bench. But yeah, I really like the Pacers. I really like what they're doing. They're paying people, but they're not paying them crazy amounts of money. I think Brogdon's getting around $18 million a year, which for a 50, 40, 90 guy is a pretty good deal going into his prime. So yeah, I think the Pacers, I really like what they're doing with their team. They're going to have a lot of depth, and they're going to be really hard to score on. I know they lost Bojan Bogdanovic. I always forget that. I know they lost him. He's a great player. He's a little bucket getter, low-key. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be too hard. I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal if they lost him. They have depth at the 4. You could even see a guy like TJ Leaf getting a bigger role this year. But with Sabonis and with Miles Turner, I think their 4 and 5 spot are pretty much shored up. I like that team a lot. I think they really could be a 2 or a 3 seed, depending on how Victor Oladipo looks coming back from his injury. Another team, I think they obviously were winners as soon as they got Mike Conley, was the Jazz. I really like Bojan Bogdanovic. I like the idea of kind of running a point guard and 3 wings, and then you have Rudy Gobert, because he's kind of all you need. Obviously, 2-time defensive player of the year. I really like what they're doing there. I've been hearing people are talking about them winning the West, and I think that's obviously a little bit of a stretch. Mike Conley's a great player. He's underrated to an extent, but I think there's a reason that we don't talk about him the way we do. Just him being on that Grizzlies team, it was terrible. He could have been like a 25 and 6 guy if that was him, and I don't think that's him. I do like him defensively, though, pairing with Donovan Mitchell. I think they're going to be a very exciting backcourt, and I think they're going to get a good bit of wins. It's just tough with that West. I mean, I don't know. I could see the Jazz being anywhere from a 6 seed to a 3 seed. It kind of all comes down to how do they gel, because I love Joe Ingles. I think he's one of those guys that can help any team. So, yeah, I like what the Jazz have done. I like how they've played it. I like that they kind of seem to be building around Donovan Mitchell by kind of putting in guys that are more like role starters and not going after any of the big people, because I think Mike Conley's going to do a good job of even mentoring him, kind of helping him become a little more efficient and not just jacking the ball up all game. And lastly, a winner for me, the Sixers. I mean, I think it's kind of hard to not say the Sixers. They let Jimmy Butler go, which is going to hurt them. But you get a guy like Josh Richardson back, who I think he's going to love it. He's going to have a lot more games that people actually watch. If you've watched Josh Richardson play, you know the man is legit. He's a legit 2-way guard in this league. And don't be surprised when everyone goes, who is this guy? Where did he come from? Even though this is what he did all last year for Miami, but Miami's a joke, so who wants to play Miami? But yeah, the Sixers, I mean, I know we all saw their average height now, and they're starting fives, 6'9.5", 6'10". That's crazy long. I do think they didn't do a good job. Like, they let JJ Redick walk. They're going to have no depth this year at all, which I think is what's hurt them year after year after year. But I do think that their starting five has just gotten good enough now to where they should be your favorites out of the East. Depending on what Kawhi does, obviously if Kawhi goes to the Raptors, then the Sixers might not be the front runner. You probably put the Raptors because they're reigning champions. But as of right now, the Sixers they have to be your front runner to come out of the East. With just the star power they have, getting a guy like Josh Richardson who's going to go in there, play his role, kind of like what Rocco did, but Rocco plus, is kind of describe him. Keeping Tobias was a big thing. I was going to be really surprised if Tobias stayed. I thought it was more likely that Tobias left and Jimmy stayed, but we all saw what actually happened. But yeah, love that team. Love them. And then to get a guy like Al Horford, who, I've always loved Al Horford. Ever since he went to Boston, I feel like he really expanded his role as a passer. I think when he was in Atlanta, they kind of kept him just down low in the post, and the only times he ever kicked out was in the post. But he's really exploded kind of his versatility in Boston, and I think they're going to love him in Philadelphia. And I think he's going to also just help the fact that they're kind of young, and I do think Embiid at times is kind of up and down. Same thing with Simmons. And I think a guy like Al Horford, who's just a great veteran, is going to really help that team. Gotta get my breath. I feel like I'm talking so fast. So now we'll go to losers. And this is all obviously subject. Who knows what's going to happen? This is just what I think. Nothing's set in stone. I'd love to hear what other people thought. But my first losers, I know stuff's still in the air, but I gotta say the Lakers. I know they got LeBron. I know they have LeBron. I know they have AD. I know they have Kyle Kuzma, and I love that group. I love it. I really do think you can kind of throw anyone in there, and they're gonna be a title contender. Because having LeBron makes you a title contender, and then throwing in a top 6 player like AD makes you even stronger. But I do feel like there's a reason they're waiting out on Kawhi. I guess they know something maybe we don't, and there's actually a lot of talk going on that he's actually going to go there. And if Kawhi goes there, I mean, who's going to beat that team? Who? I mean, I can't think of a team ever that would beat that team. You're going to have 3 top 6 players in the NBA. But as of right now, they're losers. Unless they get Kawhi, it's not really going to change my mind. Because they missed out on guys, like I said earlier, like Jeremy Lamb, who I thought would have been so good with that team. And you have a guy like Patrick Beverley, who would just be hard-nosed defensive player, didn't have to take a lot of shots, so that way LeBron and AD could both still get their shots up, and Kuz. But now, we don't really know what's happening with this roster, and I'm worried that what's going to happen is people are going to be gone, and then they're going to be scrambling. Like we've seen this organization, they're not the best at planning for if stuff goes wrong, like we saw the last however many years. So yeah, I think they just missed out on a couple key guys. Obviously I thought they should have went for more just like role players to play around with LeBron, because like we've seen, LeBron can do it by himself. And I know people say he's kind of older. He's still the best player in the world. You can make an argument Kevin Durant's better, but no, I don't think Kawhi Leonard's better. I know he had a great series, but I can't put him in that category. He hasn't done it year after year after year like those other guys have. But yeah, Lakers, losers so far. Haven't done anything, haven't impressed me. Yeah, you got AD, but you traded your whole roster away, so we'll see about that. Other losers, Timberwolves. Should have got D'Lo. D'Lo would have been awesome. I don't know if you guys watched 6 Rings of Steals, but he loves that idea. And ever since I saw that, I fell in love with the idea, too, of him being with Cat. Cat kind of trolled us by putting the loading on his Instagram story, which was made it even worse. But yeah, I think that's the only reason I would call them losers, because Derrick Rose leaves, goes to the Pistons. So now is Tyus Jones going to be your starting point guard? Which I don't hate. I don't hate Tyus Jones, but I would be surprised to make the playoffs in this West, because this West division it seems like they just keep bam compared to the East. Like the East gets more and more top heavy, but the West just 1 through 8 smacks their 1 through 8. But yeah, Timberwolves, get it together. Get it together. Another losers, Warriors. Going back to D'Lo, I don't know why you would get D'Lo. I understand Clay's out, but that doesn't make any sense to me at all. I've heard that they might try to trade him, which I don't hate that idea, obviously. I've kind of thought of an idea, like they could trade D'Lo to the Timberwolves and get like Wiggins, a Josh Okojobi, something like that. Trade him and then like a future first, and they could get D'Lo off the books. Warriors get Wiggins, and I actually think Wiggins would play well. I know a lot of people hate on Wiggins, but I think he's actually a really good young, he has a lot of scoring potential. I know he's kind of inefficient. His 3-point's really inefficient. He doesn't play defense at Lick, but I like him on the Warriors more than honestly D'Lo, for being honest. But yeah, Warriors, kind of confused with what you're doing. If you move him and you get a wing, or you even get a big man, I'd like it. I really would, and I'll look back and I'll think that I was an idiot and that I was completely wrong about this. But as of right now, losers. Lastly, the Heat. I don't get the Heat ever. Like I've never understood what they do. I know they let Gordon Dragic walk. That's smart. They trade away Hassan Whiteside today. That was a good trade. I'm glad for Hassan. He can go to the Trailblazers. Good for him. But Jimmy Butler, you trade for Jimmy Butler, and now who's he going to play with? I mean, seriously. I know Bam's a nice young big. He really is. And I think Bam has a lot of potential to be a Hassan Whiteside level center. Kind of that rim protector, rim runner, dunk on everybody, pick and roll player. But I don't really understand what they're doing. I thought Jimmy wanted to win now. The Heat, I'd be surprised they made the playoffs. I know the East isn't crazy, but I don't even think that Heat team is better than the Magic. I think the Magic are better than them. Easily. I think the Magic are better than them. So yeah, the Heat, I don't know what they're doing. Hopefully, I would, if I'm them, I want to go in a full rebuild. But I guess you take Jimmy and you can keep people in the seats because you'll have a guy who's an all-star. And he'll probably go back to Bulls Jimmy, which will be fun to watch. But yeah. And then last losers are the Hornets. I mean, I guess they're loser winners because they finally went into a rebuild. But yeah, Hornets fans, sorry for the next 5 years. I don't know, however long it's going to take. You don't have any young players that are going to be any good. Terry Rozier is pretty good. He's probably their best player by far, I would say. And yeah, that's not who you want to be your best player. So yeah, those are my final losers. And now I just kind of want to talk finally just about some players I thought were winners. First, Derrick Rose going to the Pistons. I really like it. I think he'll be a sixth man for them. I don't think he's going to start over Reggie Jackson just because how much money Reggie Jackson's getting. But I love him going there. I think the Pistons could make the playoffs. I think they should. I think they should be like a 6th seed this year because hopefully Blake comes back and he's healthy. And then you got some guard depth. Their wing depth is obviously not very good, but we saw a little positive strides from Luke Kennard. So I like that team. I wouldn't call them winners by going out and getting Derrick Rose, but they're kind of in a tricky situation because they have so much money between Blake, Reggie Jackson, and Drummond that it's kind of like, what do you do besides, I don't know, at some point maybe unload them or just wait it out and try to, again, get a 5 or a 6 seed. So yeah, Derrick Rose, good for you, man. Come back. You're the man. A loser, Jimmy Butler. Like I said earlier, you want to be on a winning team, and I guess you don't want to be on a winning team. I know you got traded to Miami. I know you probably didn't pick to go to Miami, but from what I've heard, you were cool with going to Miami. So I don't get it. I guess you want to be the man. I guess maybe you feel like people forgot about how good you were in Chicago. And so you want to be the man. But, yeah, dude, have fun in Miami. You're never going to win a championship. Another winner, D'Lo. I even though, like I've said a lot, I don't love this fit. But I like it for D'Lo in terms of learning from Steph Curry, learning from Clay, being with a winning organization. Because so far he's been with the Nets, which were cool. They're a great organization, but they weren't winners. And then he was with the Lakers, and that's like, I don't know. There's only a team worse than that right now is the Knicks. And the only reason the Lakers are now people are saying are kind of good is because they got LeBron and AD. But they're still pretty dysfunctional. So, yeah, D'Lo, I like it, though. I think he's going to learn a lot from Steph and Clay about just kind of carrying himself. He's going to learn a lot on the court, but I think he's going to learn more about just maturity overall, kind of continue that development. And I like it. I think he's going to get the same amount of touches he got in Brooklyn, if not more, because they'll actually play him. So I like that. Another winner, Kemba Walker. Love it. Love it. Love it. Celtics fan. Let's go. I like it. I mean, like I said, Kemba Walker is the top 5 point guard. He gets to go to Boston, and like I know people have said it, and it's kind of like beating a dead horse, but kind of have that Isaiah Thomas role, where he's very skilled, very good, but he doesn't have that mentality of a Kyrie, where he's like, this is my team, it's got to be my way, I'm going to take my shots, I don't care if it helps the team. So I really like that. I like it for him. He was in Charlotte. I was terrible in Charlotte. They made the playoffs one time with him, and he's had to carry that team for the last 10 years. But yeah, good for him. Another winner, Josh Richardson. Like I said earlier, I'm excited to see Josh Richardson in bigger games. I think he's going to be awesome. I think they clearly won that trade, the Sixers. I don't know. I really don't think Jimmy Butler was much better than Josh Richardson, and I think Sixer fans are going to feel the same way. I think they're going to say, who was that guy we used to have? Jimmy Butler? Yeah, who cares? Love it for him. Seriously, I think he's one of the biggest winners. Last winner, Ricky Rubio, man. Going to the Suns. I like it for you. I know you're on the Jazz, and they were in the playoffs, and I know you want to be in the playoffs, and you're not going to be in the playoffs for a good while. But I like the move. You can kind of have a big role. You can play with Devin Booker. He's going to play a bunch. Phoenix finally got a point guard, somewhat. I like it. I do think Phoenix, I'm not willing to write them off. I know they've been pretty bad for a while, but they're definitely one of those teams on the come up. So, yeah, I'll probably be doing one of these podcasts once a week, and I don't know. It's going to be whatever I want to talk about. So this is Todd Clark with What You Want Sports, and I'm signing off. Peace.